Hello friends. Now I explain a very important and relevant concept to our programs, that is escape sequences. Escape sequences are used for formatting output. Formatting output is a very important aspect of programming. Actually, one thing you have to understand, think professionally. Actually, your program speaks about your stature. Simply seeing your program, a professional can understand what is your stature in programming. Are you a beginner, or a negligent programmer, or you are a mature programmer, etc. And all that, it reflects. So, always remember that your program reflects your stature. That's why if you strictly follow all the conventions from the beginning, I feel that you are a beginner for programming. That's why from the day one, you strictly follow the conventions. Don't feel like a student, college student. Already I told you, college students never have any respect toward the conventions. That's why if you don't follow conventions, what will happen, your program may be correct and it is giving correct result and all that. But in others aspect, you will be derogated. That means they underestimate you. That's why strictly follow the conventions from the day one. Your culture should start from day one. That point you have to understand. So, formatting output is very important. Actually, your client, if you are a professional, your client never bothers which language you have used, how many hours you spent, and which logic you use. All that he never bothers. How comfortably he is able to give input to his program, how comfortably, and how readably the output is presented. That's it. In between, what we have done is immaterial for him. That's why already I told you, whenever you are giving input, writing input functions, you take care of all prompt statements. Always keep a bank ATM in your mind. So, like that, you have to guide the user. User never should not get a confusion in putting input. In such a way, your prompt statement should guide him. Thereafter, output formation. Output formation and all that. Just I tell you, every time I use this result and formatted output, what is the difference? Actually, suppose you have written your mark report. So this is the result. In the mark report, you are expecting 10 items. All the 10 items I have written like this. All the 10 items what you are expecting out of mark report, everything is here. Will you be happy? No. Why you are not happy? Everything is available here. Because it is just a result. It is not a formatted output. If it is a formatted output, how you are expecting it? There is a conventional format for everything. Like this, you are expecting. If the data is put like this in a format and all that, then you will be happy. You may not give any gold medal to your programmer, but you will be happy. If it is like this, you are not happy. That point you have to understand. So, formation of output, not result. Your program is correct, it generates results, but that much focus you have to make on formation of output. It is like one example. Logically, in your dinner, you eat half a dozen items. 6 items you eat. If I dump all the six, ultimately you eat all the 6 items. So if I dump all 6 items in your plate, how you feel? However, you are eating all 6 items, but what you are expecting? You should expect a format in a specific order, specific quantity, specific time, all that you expect. If it is served like that only, you will be happy. In the same manner, a result, if a program is correct, results are generated. But your responsibility is you have to put it in a format and then present it. Then only your client will be happy, and he need not break his head for understanding that. That only readable output. Now, for this purpose, two tools are there. Every language provides, mainly there are few more, and this is new line sequence, this is a line breaker, and this is the horizontal tab. It creates a gap, a tab gap. So if you understand the two things, Most of the general simple formats you can do comfortably. Not only Python, other language like C, C++, Java also support these escape sequences. These are called escape sequences. There are a few more, but mainly these two play a vital role. This is a new line sequence or line breaker. This is horizontal tab. Okay. Now we see, already I gave an example. This is your mark report consists of 10 items. It should be formatted. It should be formatted means two operations you have to perform. The first operation is breaking data. Second operation is placing data. Suppose simply I have broken the data. It comes like this. Will you be happy? No, just I have broken. Simply breaking that data, you are not happy. It should be properly placed. Then only it is formatted and you will be happy with this. Okay, this is the way you expect. So, two operations you have to perform. That means first one is breaking data. For breaking data purpose, you have to use new line sequence. Always remember this is the backslash. Many students confuse that backslash and forward slash. This is backslash and lowercase n. There should not be any space between it. Now we see already I introduced print. Actually, print by itself it can break its data. That's why don't worry. Suppose print you have written and another print you have written. In this you have written ABC. Another print you have written DEF, and both are printed in two separate lines. You need not worry about that. Now, where new line is useful and all that you see. Print ABC new line DEF new line GHI. Always you have to write as a string. Okay. Then how it is printed? ABC. Now new line sequence is there. It moves the cursor to the first position of the immediately next line. Then DEF. Then cursor is moved to the first position of the immediately next line. So like this you can break. Some situations are like this. You need not write 3 lines, 4 lines, 10 lines and all that. One line only write, and where the data is to be broken, there you write the new line sequence. Then it is created, and you can use them wherever it is necessary and all that. New line sequence. Always remember that. Now it should be written in a string. Now suppose sometimes one line gap you have to create. Then that you write. Actually, if you write a print, automatically line gap is created. If you write this one also in this, two line gaps are created. So practically use that. Theoretically, I cannot explain every aspect. Just whenever you are learning about a new tool, new element, you make all the experiments one time. One time if you make, it is a general capability. Wherever the service is required, you can use it. So this is the functionality of new line sequence. As far as horizontal tab is concerned, I have to explain little more. Actually, this is a typical a monitor screen. A monitor screen is divided into, this is ordinary monitor screen. This is divided into 10 tab zones. That means it is 80 characters width. An ordinary monitor screen is 80 characters width. That means it is divided into 10 tab zones by default. That means each one 8 character width. This background we should have 8 character width. By default 8. If you want to expand it or condense it, you can do that. That is up to you. By default, each tab zone is 8 character width, and a monitor screen is divided into 10 tab zones. That point you have to understand. What is that importance and all that I tell you. Now we see, I am writing a print statement using tab zones. Now ABC horizontal tab, DEF horizontal tab, GHI horizontal tab, AL. Suppose I have written like this. Now, what is the impact of horizontal tab? You see. Now this is a tab zone. Each tab zone holds 8 characters. Now A, B, C are printed here. Thereafter, the horizontal tab moves the cursor to the first position of the second tab zone. Second moves the cursor. Then what are printed? D, F. Then here another tab zone is there. It moves the cursor to the first position of the third tab zone and G, H, I. Then this one, it moves the cursor to the first position of the fourth tab zone, then J, K, L. Like this. Now, ultimately, how it looks in output? A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I. Like that, automatically a uniform space is allocated and it is formatted. You need not count and allocating space and all that are not required. So, where it is required also, just a simple example I tell you. Suppose a cash bill header, you see, a cash bill header item is there. Item, horizontal tab, a number or quantity, right? Quantity, horizontal tab, a rate, horizontal tab, amount. Like this you have written. You don't think of anything because a tab gap is required between all 4 items. Then what you are doing? Then you simply write like this. Then output, how these are printed? First item, tab, quantity, tab, rate, tab, amount. Like this is printed. So wherever you want a tab gap and all that, you can use. You can use that. And one more advantage I tell you. Suppose I told you your buy data should be at the center of the page. Then what to do? One horizontal tab, buy data, you write. Suppose if you write like this, now this is your buy data. Buy data comes here, but you want little more. Then you leave a space. Otherwise, you try 2 horizontal tabs. Then by that you can make an adjustment. 1 horizontal tab, 2 horizontal tabs you write. Then it is going here. Suppose 1 horizontal tab, it is coming here. So in between you want to move it to here. Then what to do? In between some 3, 4 spaces you allocate after horizontal tab, and buy data is displayed at the center of the page. This is the way, just a matter of common sense and little exercise if you make. One thing in this way, every day you have to, every day your studies in 2 aspects. One is whatever you learn so far, you make a practice and own them. And whatever elements you are learning newly, you practice them. That's it. Every day, by that, every day you can enrich your knowledge as well as programming skills.